Wakey wakey, rise and shine. It's another 24 hours of cross-stitch weekend. And apparently, despite vlogging the whole thing, past me forgot to record any kind of intro. So I guess I'll be doing the intro instead. If you're new here, hello, my name is Michelle and I love to do all of the crafts, but especially the stitchy ones. And if you're unfamiliar with this event, 24 Hours of Cross Stitch is a weekend cross-stitching marathon held 4 times a year over on Facebook. Of course, it's 2025 now and who even has a Facebook account, so a few of us just hang out over on my Discord server and have our own weekend loosely based on the original rules. And I do mean loosely. This time round, I had a somewhat last-minute plan to do a new start. Beachfront Home by Infinity Bear Designs, who just so happened to be running a sale the night before when I was trying to decide what I would be working on this weekend. So thanks, that was really well timed of you. I had a few of the colours I would need, enough to get started at least, but I knew I would need to do a shop run at some point to pick up the rest. So without any further ado, I'll hand you off to my past self who is looking, if I may say, rather tired before she even starts. Gotta be honest, I found this Ada last night when I was looking for supplies for the new pattern. It's the only big enough stretch of white Ada I seem to have in the house. I definitely need to stock up, and I have no idea what size it is. Are you 14 count? Do you say somewhere? I don't know. I'm going to measure what count it is, and whatever count it is, that's the one I'm stitching on. It would definitely make life easier if I counted prep time in with the 24 hours, but I never do for some reason. Why do I hate myself? Some people in Discord cheated and started yesterday, but a few are way ahead of me this morning as well, so I really better get going. Oh, is there anything more exciting and full of possibilities than the very first stitch in a new project? I tell you, I was raring to go. Fueled by tea, as per usual, in my fancy new travel mug. There's some great projects coming in already. I cannot wait to see everyone's progress by Sunday. Okay, we're 1 hour in, and I'm already distracted because this just turned up and I am fighting the urge to play with it straight away. This is a mini circular needle for an upcoming knitting video, which I do persist in making even though nobody really watches them, because I'm a rebel who lives life by her own rules. The rule today though is stitching, so I put that aside and I got back to work. Well, if you follow me anywhere else other than here, you will know I've not been in the best of health this week, and now that I'm 2 hours in, my headache is definitely starting to creep back. So, time for a break. Food, little bit of rest, and plenty of water will hopefully keep it at bay. Bananas are such a scam. Hour 3, I continued with the sandcastle. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty bored of stitching this sandy colour now, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem for much longer. But it was also our first scheduled event. A body doubling stream where basically I turn on the camera with no mic and people can drop in and out and feel like they're stitching along with someone. Sometimes they just watch, sometimes they also have their cameras on. It's nice and it's a lot less stressful than actually having to talk. Technical limitations this time round meant I had to just use the built-in laptop camera, and thankfully, being just after Christmas, we had all of these chocolate tubs to get it to the right height. Where there's a will, there's a way. Yes, I did totally knock it off at one point with my elbow, but thankfully that part wasn't on camera. Time for the next distraction. Friday afternoon is housework day, and then we also need to walk our Pikmin. If you've seen how routine-based my life is from previous vlogs, you may know that Friday nights are for soup and top of the pops. So sure enough, we nipped into the shop on the way home. There we go. Routine. Now it was time for our second event, a group video call. But despite taking the camera up with me and setting it up and everything, I got so stressed by the socialing that I forgot to hit record. So you're looking at the rest of hours 6 and 7 instead, and you'll just have to imagine an array of awkward stitching nerd faces in a Discord call. Soz. By hour 8 you can see I was well and truly over stitching that sand, and I wanted to end the night with something more exciting. I was so tired by this point. We were done with Top of the Pops and now we were watching a film of some kind, but nevertheless I chose this moment to make a start on the crabby stars of the show. Because it only involved counting about 6 spaces, so what could possibly go wrong? Yeah. 24 hours over 3 days is in theory 8 hours per day, but this was the first time I had ever, in the history of all my 24 hours of cross-stitching, ever managed the full 8 hours on the Friday. I was chuffed. And I was also very exhausted and glad to be done. Who knew starting earlier in the day means you get more time in? That's science. Now, I'm checking the spreadsheet and apparently I managed 1,233 stitches over the 8 hours, which averages out to 154 stitches per hour. That's quite a lot slower than my usual speed over shorter stitching sessions, but with all of that peopling going on, I'll take it.
Saturday morning, and what is that I see down by the door? Could it be? Yes. So this is, in theory, all of the colours I was missing for Three-Toed Sloth from Unconventional X-Stitch, which is one of the full coverages, and it's the one that I had intended to be working on this weekend, but obviously this arrived a little late. Never mind, we've got a sandcastle to be working on.
As you can see, I am my usual sparkling morning self. I'm just gonna have a moment here while Dave is out doing his Saturday morning hike and I have the house to myself and everything is peaceful. Just gonna take a moment to drink some tea and wake up. So in the meantime, let's see what everyone else got up to overnight while I was blissfully unaware, and also check in on Jay-Z Sketch, who started a 24-hour attempted stream at 9 PM our time last night. So we'll see how he's doing this morning. Okay, for some reason I decided to go with this barely visible light blue early in the morning while the room is dark and my eyes are still half asleep. So smart. Such strategy. I don't know, I need more tea. Luckily, at this point, Dave got home and made us eggs on toast, which was sorely needed, because I had just made a shocking discovery that was in no way foreshadowed last night. My crabs are in the wrong place. Somehow they should be like 4 whole stitches further to the left. So all of this is wrong. This is a tragedy. So yeah, hour 10, we are going backwards. I then restitched, made a complete pig's ear of it, but was so annoyed I just left the back like this and, honestly, let the stitcher who has never done the exact same thing cast the first stone. Moving on, I decided to pivot and work on the C, which I definitely did not realise would take up the rest of the day. Still, it's not about how fast you go, it's about the time you put in, and also it's about taking the opportunity to eat pie and do a watch-along of Gladiators with Mastodon. Priorities. Come on. Oh. By hour 16, I had one side done and I just figured I'd barrel through until bedtime. This time last year I was staying up until about 4 AM on the Sunday morning to watch the Packers in the NFL playoffs, but alas, not this year. No offense, Chiefs, but you are nowhere near as exciting. Still, I ended the Saturday on 18 hours, which, yeah, Saturday is always my biggest stitching day, but I have never been so far ahead of myself by end of day. Despite putting in the full 10 hours though, I did only end the day on 1,145 stitches, which just goes to show the difference that a frogging session and admittedly quite a lot of TV can make. Alright, Sunday has arrived, and in fact it's actually 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon, so let me catch you up with the day so far. With 6 hours remaining on the challenge, I woke up at 7 AM and I thought, I'm well in here, I'm gonna nail this. Immediately fell back asleep until 9. But I did manage to get 1 hour of stitching this morning and managed to complete that accursed C. Then we actually went outside for a change. It's absolutely freezing out there, so I'm glad to be back in the warm. I'm going to take 5 minutes for my hands to defrost, and then we've got, 5 more hours to go? 5 more hours is easy. I got this. We did a body doubling session every day. Now, I had the audacity to point my camera at the screen here while nobody else had their cameras on, but I think it still freaked them out because someone did leave immediately after I did this. Sorry, I didn't mean to panic you.
If my calculations are right, we're into hour 22, and I've started on these almost invisible lighter sand bits that I definitely should have done while it was lighter in here. This is how we learn.
So for the last couple of hours, I returned to ever so slightly more interesting bits, because last time I did counting late at night while tired, that totally went fine, right?
Okay, you know what? This bit here is slightly off, but it's just sand. Nobody cares. It's staying as is.
And there we go. 24 full hours of cross-stitch. Some more productive than others, but we don't need to talk about that. All that matters is the hours. I couldn't believe how early I finished. This was maybe 6:30 or so, and normally I'm scrambling to get those last couple of hours before bed, so this was a huge improvement. Although, also kind of an anticlimax. Maybe I do live for drama. The last day's stats were 991 stitches over the 6 hours, which is an average pace of 165 per hour, so you can tell I was pretty motivated on this day. Which brings my weekend total to 3,369 stitches, which sounds much more impressive than when I tell you it only averages out to 140 per hour. Let's just agree that's an irrelevant stat, okay? Now, for all the main characters and the central sandcastle are complete, this is only 42.9% of the way through the pattern because it is full coverage. I could have definitely blasted past the halfway point if it wasn't for all that frogging, but such is life. I will now procrastinate endlessly on the sky and the sand until eventually getting annoyed with myself and completing it as part of some other stupid internet challenge. I mean, clearly that's not like my preferred plan, but I'm just not kidding myself. Really nice pattern, not too many colours, and no confetti, which made it perfect for stitching on when very distracted. Once again, this is Beachfront Home by Infinity Bear Designs, and I will make sure there's a link down in the description. I don't know about you, but these challenge weekends always have me doing more stitching than I probably get done in a normal week. Of course, it also burns me out slightly, so I end up putting that project down for a while afterwards and working on other things instead, which is how I never really finish anything. But I'm having fun, and that's what matters. Huge thanks to everyone who took part in this. If you feel like joining us in future, I will pop up a graphic with all of the dates now. And in the description you will find links to the official Facebook group as well as my Discord server. Of course, you can also just post to your social media platform of choice with the hashtag 24HOCS, and you'll either find other people joining in, or you'll get people asking what that is and then planning to join you next time. That seems to be how it goes for me anyway. Thanks for watching, even though my life is a boring routine and I always eat the same soup on a Friday. Thanks to my Ko-fi supporters for keeping the channel going, and especially to the Stitch Squad, who currently are Mary Ann Johnson, Sunny, Candy Riley Pettinger, Laura Sellerts, Enlightened Flamingo, Cross Stitch the Globe, I'd Rather Be Stitching, Angela Sue Harrison, Emily Hobbs, Lee the Cozy Crafter, Sarah, Angela Wells, Enraged Flamingo, Alicia, Louise T, Mel, and Hugs for Panda. I'll be back soon with some more crafty nonsense, so in the meantime, have a brilliant rest of your day and keep making cool stuff. Bye! Don't know what I'll do with myself all night now. Maybe I'll knit.